Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. That's a long name for a game, but what's longer than the name is the list of bugs and issues and glitches that this game is plagued by. Now, at this point, you already know that the launch was an absolute disaster. The game wasn't even available on PC for 3 days. You know, people been paid. People want to play the game. They don't have the game for 3 days. There's Rockstar for you. But the point is, I'm gonna review this game, and it's not going to be a simple review, you know. We are gonna take a deep dive. The issues, the pros, the cons. Should you buy it? Hell no. But why? I'm gonna tell you in detail with some cool facts and technical stuff. So stay tuned, guys. My name is Benjamin. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. And without any further ado, let's actually begin the review. But if you would hit a like, I would totally appreciate it. YouTube algorithm, it's gonna promote my video. It's gonna reach out to more people. But with that out of the way, I'm gonna start this review with three key things. Keep this in mind, because इन 3 चीज़ों को अगर आप माइंड में रखेंगे, ये गेम जिस स्टेट में, जिस शेप में है, यहाँ तक कैसे पहुँचा, ये चीज़ एक्सप्लेन करने में ये 3 पॉइंट्स बहुत हेल्प करेंगी आपको. पॉइंट नंबर 1, this game was released on the PS2 console and that whole console generation, and was made on an engine called Renderware. Renderware was like Unreal Engine of that time. 1993 का इंजन है. 2001 के आसपास GTA 1 आया, GTA 3 आया, and then so on and so forth, all the GTA games that we have in the trilogy. So Renderware पे ये बना था. Point number 2, it was ported from those versions of console to mobile versions, iOS and Android, somewhere around 2012, 2014, 2010. Then it was ported to these versions that we have right now, that was released on 11th November 2021, the console versions and the PC version from those mobile versions. So what do you have? You have a game ported from the console versions to the mobile version, and then mobile version to the 2021 version. Absolute chaos. That's why this game is a hot mess. Finally, point number 3, what Rockstar actually did with Grove Street Games, they AI upscaled the game. Now 2021 में इतना strong हमारे पास कोई AI है नहीं. जो low resolution textures थे, जो spelling mistakes आपको दिख रहे हैं, Rider's hand, 8 feet long hand with 3 joints in his arm, AI का कमाल है. They put the game in the AI upscaler. दूसरे तरफ से ओवन के अंदर से निकल के आता है game. They shipped it, and we, like a bunch of fools, paid $60-70 for it. But those are the 3 points that that's gonna explain a lot of issues that this game has. So let's actually dive in to the review. So let's get all the pros out of the way, the highlights, the good things about this game. Number 1, this game is in fact on Unreal Engine for this time, and as a result, the lighting engine is improved. The lighting has improved dramatically. It does look great. I was streaming San Andreas, had a jetpack on, looked at the lighting and the sky. I was literally blown away. The lighting is in fact very good. The textures look way better. Of course, the game is now playable at 4K resolution, and as a result, everything is sharper, and not just sharp, everything, the trees, the geometry of things, more polygons, more triangles, all of that good stuff. Everything just has, more complexity to it, which is a good thing. And the reflections also pop. While I was playing GTA Vice City, I remember I went into this ocean view house, the first thing that you have in the game, where you go and save your game. Reflections pop. You can't miss these things. Reflections on the windshield of cars pop, and it's very evident in GTA San Andreas, because that was actually the the latest game in the trilogy. The character model has seen an obvious improvement, guys. जो हाथ है पहले baseball bat की तरह लगता था, now it actually you can see the fingers, so that's an improvement there. And also the features of the face are also improved. You can see the nose and the eyes a lot more clearly, and they actually look like humans now. But the thing is, there are serious inconsistencies. कुछ character models like Denise, CJ's girlfriend, crazy, totally changed, crazy, doesn't look good. ऐसे ही बहुत सारे inconsistencies हैं, which I think is a result of the AI upscaling. Also, an amazing change and improvement to the game is the fact that you can place a waypoint on the map and a GPS route shows up. Now the GPS route shows up when you are in a new mission, but when you actually want to go somewhere randomly and you place a waypoint, the GPS route doesn't show up. So again, a lack of polish to the game, but yes, of course the GPS route is there. ऐसे ही बहुत सारे improvements हैं, quality of life improvements हैं. Accessibility settings में अगर चले जाते हैं, you'd be hoping that you're gonna see a lot of accessibility settings, because all of the other publishers are going crazy with the accessibility settings. Now Rockstar did. I think there are a number of like 3 accessibility settings, and subtitle on and off was in the accessibility menu. Are you kidding me, Rockstar? You kidding me, right? So yeah, the quality of life improvement is there, not as much as I and you would have hoped for, but yes, the weapon wheel is there, but there are serious cons to this point, which we'll cover in the cons section. Let's now start with the cons of the game, and boy oh boy, you wanna relax, grab a cup of coffee, because this is gonna be fun. Let's start with GTA Vice City. What's the problem with GTA Vice City? Number one thing, soon as you turn on the game, you head into the graphics settings. And what do? You see fidelity option and a performance option. Fidelity runs at 30 frames per second, performance runs at 60 frames per second. Of course not, it dips to 35 frames per second sometimes, most of the times. Point is, why in the hell do you have a game that doesn't even look that good running at 30 FPS and still you have problems? It doesn't lock to 30. Problem number 1, and this problem is with all the games, not just with Vice City. Number 2, the brightness and contrast settings don't work. Are they broken? I don't know. When you boot the game with the stock brightness and contrast settings, at least for me, everything looked overexposed. And if you turn down the brightness, the blacks get crushed. जो windows हैं, जहाँ पे थोड़े shadows आ रहे हैं, पूरा अंधेरा छा जाता है. So now you have to tweak the contrast and the brightness to get it working perfectly. It does work well, but the default settings, broken. Even the sliders, they are totally broken, So yeah, the default settings totally suck. And this is the case with all of the games. Maybe not San Andreas, but definitely with GTA 3. The controls are janky. And here is where my, the major criticism lies for all of these games. So when you're asking for 4,000 rupees, $60, you want this game to be playable like a game that is released in 2021. There's nothing like that. The controls are janky. When you move your analog stick to control your car freaking takes, instead of a 90-degree turn, it takes a 180. It's totally crazy. The camera is all over the place. I did not like the controls. When you're releasing a game in 2021, you want the controls to be on point. Number 2, you cannot swim. The problem with this is, I am not saying dive deep into the water and let's just, swim like to some freaking island or something. Be, Columbus. Discover something in the freaking ocean. No shit. What I'm trying to say is, if your car crashes into the water, you're dead. At least Rockstar gave us the option to swim back to the shore and continue the mission or continue the free roam or whatever that is. That option is totally missing. A simple tweak, I assume. They didn't do it. That's my major criticism with GTA Vice City. Let's now talk about the second game in the trilogy, which is GTA 3. Of course, GTA 3 was revolutionary. हर तरीके से it was revolutionary. It was the first 3D GTA game and it changed the open world, the genre forever. But the definitive edition sucks. Why is that? The brightness contrast settings are bad here as well. The game overall is very dark. If you, increase the brightness too much, everything looks overexposed and there is a lack of, you lose detail. So the brightness and contrast settings are bad here. Especially this game particularly looks a lot darker, maybe too dark than you want it to look. The controlling the car, vehicles was actually better in GTA 3 than Vice City, even though GTA 3 came earlier than Vice City. I don't know why that is. The inconsistency in character models makes its way into GTA 3 as well. In one of the missions, I remember this one guy looked like an alien. I was like, does he have a disease? You know, while we were live streaming, we live streamed all these games. And I have to say, GTA 3 was a lot more fun than Vice City because of the cheats. Yes, all the games support cheats. And the cheats made the game a lot more fun, especially to stream. It was amazing. GTA San Andreas. Now everybody played this game first. Soon as they downloaded the Trilogy, they live streamed this first. They played this game first. I didn't because I wanted to save the best for the last. But oh boy, was I disappointed. So let's get on with why this game totally sucked. But let's talk about the pros first. So of course this game has seen a massive graphical improvement. Yes, the reflections, the textures look a lot better than the other two games, as you would expect. And another good thing about this one is that the controls, the driving controls, amazing. I had no issues, I had no complaints. The controls were great. So let's get on with the cons. Con number one, AI upscaled. Spelling mistakes. You could see spelling mistakes are all over the place. I'm sure you must have watched videos, pointing these things out already. But yeah, लो रेजोल्यूशन टेक्सचर्स उसको जब AI अपस्केल करता है तो गलत तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करके स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक कर दी. Number 2 guys, the cheats did not work at once. So I entered the cheats 3 times, didn't work. 4th time randomly चलने लग गया. Entering the cheats 6 times, didn't work. 7th time cheat activated. So there is definitely an issue there. The cheats are not registering properly, and also it's a damn shame that Rockstar made a lot of cheats unavailable. Even though GTA San Andreas has like the most extensive list of cheat codes, it's a damn shame that those cheats didn't work at all. And यही एक रीजन था कि GTA 3 इतना enjoyable था because काफ़ी अच्छे cheats थे, उसमें मज़ा आ रहा था, स्ट्रीम करने में मज़ा आ रहा था. GTA San Andreas even though इतने अच्छे cheats हैं उसमें काम नहीं किया. Boring. The experience got boring. Now another major issue that I have is the camera kept auto adjusting. Now you could use both of these analog sticks, one for controlling the camera, one for controlling your character, just the way it has been for a while. But not with GTA San Andreas, because when you move your character with the left analog stick, the camera is always facing in the direction of the character's face, which sucks. तो बहुत बड़ा इशू था. इवन उन्होंने अगर गेम के मेन्यूज में ऑप्शन देते इस चीज़ को चेंज करने का अच्छा रहता, बट आई चेक द मेन्यूज इन द स्ट्रीम, द ऑप्शन वाज़न्ट देयर, व्हिच मेड द navigating and looking around the world a whole lot tedious and not enjoyable at all. And finally guys, this is a big one and I am sure आप लोगों ने ये चीज़ देखी ली होगी, सुन ली होगी. ड्रॉ डिस्टेंस इंप्रूव किया है. रॉकस्टार ने बोला था जब लॉन्च किया था ये गेम, अनाउंस किया था कि हमने ड्रॉ डिस्टेंस इंप्रूव किया है. ड्रॉ डिस्टेंस क्या होता है बेसिकली, आप दूर तक देख रहे हैं तो कितनी क्लियर दिख रही हैं चीज़ें, कितनी दूर की चीज़ें कितनी ज़्यादा क्लियर दिख रही हैं. पहले क्या होता था, ग्राफिकल लिमिटेशंस थी और हार्डवेयर लिमिटेशंस थी, तो फॉग डाल देते थे ताकि दूर का ज़्यादा ना दिखे, सो दैट इट पुट्स लेस प्रेशर ऑन द हार्डवेयर ऑफ योर सिस्टम. लेकिन आजकल हार्डवेयर स्ट्रांग है, तो व्हाट रॉकस्टार डिड इज ये पूरा स्मोक और स्मॉग हटा दिया, पूरा दूर तक क्लियर कर दिया. उससे हुआ ये, इंस्टेड ऑफ द गेम लुकिंग बिग एंड गुड, व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड, द गेम लुक्ड स्मॉल. इफ यू टेक एन एयरप्लेन up into the sky, you can see the edge of the map, you can see the ocean, which was never the case in GTA San Andreas. So instead of actually working in favor of the game, it's working against it, and it made the game and the map seem small. Now that we've talked about the games individually, let's move towards the end and try to wrap this whole thing up. But I want to point out the frame drops. It's a serious issue. So there are two modes, fidelity mode and performance mode on the Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 5 consoles, Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. इन चारों consoles पे आपको दो options मिलते हैं, 30 FPS mode, 60 FPS mode. What is the problem now? The problem is on the Xbox Series X, fidelity mode में आपको reflections and cloud rendering, sky rendering मिलता है. परफॉर्मेंस मोड 60 FPS मोड में ये चीज़ हटा दी जाती है ताकि परफॉर्मेंस बूस्ट मिले, FPS ज़्यादा मिले. सेम थिंग शुड हैव बीन कैरीड ओवर टू द PS5, बट नो, ऑन द PS5 you have the reflections and the cloud rendering still present in the 60 FPS mode. What that does obviously is puts a lot of stress on the hardware of the PS5 system, which results in serious frame drops. The frame drops are terrible. The game looks choppy at times, and I wouldn't recommend playing at 60 FPS. Also, keep motion blur turned on because PS5 at this point doesn't have support for VRR. VRR होता तो थोड़ा सा वो choppiness आपको reduction उसमें seemingly it would have looked less choppy. But since VRR isn't there, I would definitely recommend sticking to 30 FPS mode. Now, as Digital Foundry pointed out in their video, the best way to play the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition on PS5 is to actually get the PS4 game and run it on performance mode, because जो PS4 वाली चीज़ है वो 60 FPS log PS5 पे चलती है with backwards compatibility. But then you'd wonder, why the hell do I have a PS5? This, in my book, is a prime example of carelessness, ignorance, and lack of responsibility. How can you not get the graphic settings right? You couldn't even copy over the settings from one console to the other one as it is. Also, like I said, the game wasn't available for 3 days on PC, and Rockstar support actually tweeted something. I want you to take a look. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition is again available through the Rockstar Games launcher for play and purchase. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and are working to improve and update overall performance as we move forward. So it's basically becoming a trend, and it has happened too many times to count now. It started with Cyberpunk 2077, publishers putting the game out and they're like, we're fixing the game, show us your support, we are sorry, yes, we are fixing it, we're working towards fixing the game, thank you so much for the support so far. Nobody wants that BS anymore, and the sad thing is it's becoming a trend. Is this the future of the gaming? And now I think it's more about the money than it has ever been in the past. It's less about putting out quality content, more about making tons of dough. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the review. I know it was more of a rant than a review, but yeah, at this point everybody expects a rant. But the thing is, Rockstar ported this game from a mobile, to the current gen versions, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean now. That just shows that they put in more effort into marketing the game than actually making this game playable on all the consoles. And one last thing before I end this video is comment down below if you think Cyberpunk's launch was more disastrous than the Trilogy Definitive Edition launch. And this is gonna trigger a lot of people, but I think Cyberpunk's launch, the game itself, was a lot better than the GTA one. At least, it sucked on the consoles, yes, but at least it was playable on the PC, At least the story was great, the graphics, of course, amazing, music, amazing. It was playable on one platform. In the case of GTA Trilogy, sucks everywhere. With that being said, guys, drop a like, you can subscribe, you can share the video if you actually enjoyed it with your friends. With that said, guys, stay tuned right here. A lot of amazing content just like this is planned, which is gonna make your gaming life easier and awesome. With that said, guys, you take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.